talk about the full system testing and the pull request, how the pull request process fits in. This is your flow when you've integrated Octopus Deploy in, where you're gonna have a feature branch that someone's working on their engineer workstation. Look at this activity diagram where the second row, these things happen on the engineer workstation, changing the code, actually making the change to the software, running the private build, doing a git commit, pushing it up to the feature branch. Then on the build server, we run the integration build. Okay, that's great. Then in the TDD environment, we integrate over with Octopus Deploy and deploy to our TDD environment. And then after Octopus Deploy does its deployment, the call stack, the control comes back to Azure Pipelines. We run the automated acceptance test, whatever that means for your particular software. And at that point, now that that succeeded for the build that came from my feature branch, now back on the engineer workstation, I know that I'm good to create a pull request. If any of those tests failed, or if the deployment failed because I accidentally changed the key name on one of the app settings, well, guess what? Now I just broke the deployment. It doesn't make sense for me to submit a pull request because I just broke something. My build doesn't deploy. But if it does, all the previous test range is fine. I know I'm good for a pull request. I submit the pull request, and someone else on my team runs through the team's designated pull request checklist, make sure everything's good, submits the pull request. Now my change goes into the master branch, and now the integration build runs on the master branch. We have a release candidate now. That build now isn't just a regular build. That build is now release candidate status build. It actually is a candidate for release to production because it came from the master branch. We deploy to the TDD environment, Octopus Deploy does its thing, and acceptance tests, and now it's ready to go to one of the manual test environments. So that's the flow of where Octopus Deploy even fits into your pull request process. All right, harping on tests a little bit more. These are some of the screens in Azure Pipelines for saving artifacts from your post-deployment testing. And we can see in this very simple screenshot, we have 6 tests passed, we have one of the tests selected, and we have the attachments tab selected, and we have 3 steps, okay? And then we're gonna zoom in on this screenshot. Next slide is a zooming in of an actual screenshot of a simple screen in the browser. Now, obviously this sample is very simple. We just have a form with a save button with 3 text boxes, but this is a screenshot of what that screen looks like as, in this example, the Selenium tests are pulling up a web browser, navigating to various screens and pulling up a form, filling in text boxes, and we snap a photo of that screen and we log it so that later on when we're analyzing test results, and this is especially useful when a test fails, to know exactly what the screen looked like right before we had a test failure. Because we're not running these tests on our box, we're running them on our TDD environment, okay? But it failed. Why did it fail? It's important every single step of post-deploy tests that you run, take screenshots. They're free. Azure Pipelines will save all of them associated with every test run, and you will be so thankful when you're trying to figure out, hey, this has been running for a long time just fine. Why did it fail now? And you'll be able to look at it, what the screen looked like right before it failed, and you'll instantly know what happened, and you'll be able to fix it quickly. All right. Let's close out with some philosophy of how you should be managing these environments before we jump back over to Octopus Deploy runbooks now that we're in production. All right. Anytime you deploy to production, you should make sure that everything that you do has been done successfully multiple times in multiple previous environments. Do not do anything for the first time in production. If you do, just know that you're basically developing in production. And we all know that that's a bad idea because we need to verify everything before. So here's just a list of very, very common things that we all do, and the environment typically it goes to. And again, the middle column, the UAT environment, that's whatever name you want to call it. Do these in manual test environments.